Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We have a great panel here today. I'd like to start off with Tracy Snyder from the Clippers to tell us more about what we're in store for today.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ms. Bigpen. We are very excited. I know you guys have been doing a lot of these career panels, which is awesome. We've been doing a lot of them as a staff for different middle schools and high schools with our employees and my coworkers from both the Clippers and the Forum in Inglewood. So I'm excited to have a handful of my coworkers with me today. I'm going to let them just kind of introduce themselves a little bit, tell you a little bit about what they do, and then I believe we're going to throw it over to a handful of your students to ask some questions. And then if there are additional questions, feel free to put them in the chat if that's way, or if you guys are sending them to other students, I think there may be a couple different options you guys have used for that. So whatever you guys normally do for that as well. So I can go ahead and start. Again, my name's Tracy Schneider. I work in community relations and player programs with the LA Clippers. And so what I do is a lot of our community efforts. So everything we do with education and mentorship. So I work with a lot of schools like yours, elementary, middle, and high schools. We do a lot of education programs, reading programs, creative writing, STEAM programs, math hoops, all sorts of fun stuff like that, providing incentives and through educational programs for students in LA and outside in neighboring counties as well. And then working on the mentorship side, which is a big piece for us, and working with the community on anything that we're doing with, during the holidays when we're giving away toys, when we're doing food distributions to just help out the community, all that kind of fun stuff. I think I'm pretty sure this school got backpacks last year. That was one of ours that we did, doing 1 million backpacks for the LA area. So get to do all that fun stuff, helping out the community and also working on the team side with the players and their appearances. So that's a little bit about me. I'm going to throw it over. I have 3 coworkers. One is also a fourth one is also one. She's going to hop on in a few minutes, but I've got 3 to start. Who wants to start and introduce themselves? Dent?
Yep. What's going on, everybody? My name is DJ Dents, LA Clippers. This is my 15th season with the organization. I am the one that's in control of a lot of the music that you hear as soon as you walk in. From the offense and defense prompts, I'm the one screaming out defense and go Clips go and make some noise. I'm the one that's down there on the court as well, giving away, let's say $10,000, maybe a brand new car. So that's a little bit about some of the stuff that I do. I love being out there in the audience and actually on the court and just making people smile, having fun, getting you out of your seat, having you dance, getting your energy going, ready for the game. I see some people bobbing their heads, so got a few people on my side right now.
I'll go next. Hi, everybody. I'm Amy Millstone. I'm the Director of Corporate Communications for the LA Clippers, which means I do storytelling for what the Clippers do, not just on the court, but mostly off the court. So things like what Tracy talked about, what we do in the community, all of our efforts there, as well as things with our partners, with our marketing initiatives, and a little bit more. I've worked for the Clippers for about 3.5 years, I think now, and I live in the Valley, and I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio.
Hello, my name is Bridget. I'm from South Haven, Michigan. I studied communications at Arizona State University. I am with the Forum in Inglewood. I'm an event manager, and I've been there for the last year. And essentially, as an event manager, you plan any concerts or any other type of events ongoing at the Forum, from production, event timeline, diagrams, and the guest experience for all of the events at the Forum.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kirsten, and I am the Community Relations and Player Programs Assistant. So I work directly with Tracy. So all of our community initiatives, our player program initiatives as well. This is my 3rd season with the team, and I'm originally from Apple Valley, California. So just about an hour and a half north of the city. And I went to college at Marquette University in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Awesome, thanks guys. And then I think I'm throwing it over to Nina, if I'm correct.
Yes, me and my other fellow ambassador Josh questions at this point.
Perfect.
The first one is, why did you choose your career? This question could be for anyone. Anyone can answer.
I'll start. I chose my career because I actually had a completely different plan for what I was going to do career-wise. But I chose my career because I realized that it's something that people could do for a living and still have fun. There's a lot of jobs, don't get me wrong, where you can have fun and do them, I'm sure, but I was really passionate about sports, and wanted to make that my living. And I love it because it's a lot of people go to the bank, from 9 to 5 to get their money or cash their checks or whatever, but nobody goes to a basketball game unless it's for fun. And that's what I do for a job.
I chose my career DJing because I can't dance. I'm gonna just be straight up with you guys. I cannot dance. But no, you know what? I've always had a passion for music, but my go-to was sports. It was baseball, but that did not work. But I had always had that passion for music that started when I was young, and I had a mentor that just kind of helped me understand without actually telling me that music can help you through your path. So music has just always been with me. And then when I found out that music can make you cry, music can make you laugh, music can make you smile, music can make you forget about what's going on for the moment, I realized that that was my passion.
I think for me, it was an unintentional choice. I think my path kind of wound around until I got to where I am. But I think for me, I love the giving aspect of my role. I love the fact that I'm able to give back in a larger scale, which I think is really awesome. But then I also love the fact that I get to do that while representing a brand that is really excited about giving back to the community. And I think that's what made me want to work, one, for the Clippers, but also two, in this community relations role, because it allows me to serve others. And I think that's something that I was really passionate about with my career choice.
And I'm kind of a combo of both Amy and Kirsten's answers. I love sports. I've always loved sports. And I started to realize in high school that there's a whole team of people behind the scenes that you don't see, that are really making the product on the court go, which is really fun to be a part of. And then when I actually started as a game night intern many years ago, this is actually my 18th season with the team, but I started as a game night intern just to get my foot in the door. And we have internships in a lot of different departments, and I tried community because it kind of combined. I love working with kids, and similar to Kirsten, giving back and working on that side. So choosing community relations kind of allowed me to combine working with sports, but also being able to give back and still work with kids. So it was a good combo for me.
Yeah, for me, I'd have to say my passion for music. I grew up going to concerts, and I definitely wanted to make a career out of it, and I didn't know how. So in college, I did numerous internships, from seat sales for Live Nation and marketing intern. And then finally, I landed an internship at State Farm Stadium in Arizona. And that's how I fell in love with event operations and planning concerts. So for me, I'm giving back the experience that I had growing up, and being able to plan and give back, to the new generation.
Okay, hi, my name is Jocelyn. I'm another senior ambassador here to talk with you guys today. So could anybody tell us, what your jobs were like prior to COVID and how everything's changed since then?
I can start with that one. It's a super interesting question for everyone, obviously, these days. I think for folks who work in sports and live events like Bridget, it's a really, really different one. In our, normal jobs, all of us would be at every single home basketball game. We would be working with fans. We would have packed arenas. We would do all of our jobs in person. And I think probably for all of us, maybe DJ Dents is a little bit of the exception. He can talk a little bit more about that. We don't do that right now. Everything is remote. It's really, really amazing and impressive how much you can accomplish via Zoom and email and all things remote. We still play basketball games in the arena. We're going to welcome back fans this weekend, actually, for the first time. But that doesn't mean that all of us will go back to work, because we're still being super careful and safe and keeping our distance. But I work in communications, PR. So And to give you an example, something like a pregame interview with our coach or postgame interviews with players after a win, those normally is, if you've ever watched a basketball game before, that's all done in person. We'll have reporters in a room raising their hand and asking questions. That's a really good example of the sort of thing that we've now transitioned to do completely remotely, all via Zoom. It was a little tricky at first, but now everybody's really used to it. And I think it's something that'll probably stick around for a while. And the one other thing that I'd say, I talked a lot about things that are different and sort of funky and weird, but that's a really good example of something that's actually really cool because it's opened up using a digital platform like that. We can now have reporters talk to our players live from Spain or from China or from Brazil, all over the world. And that's not something that you could do when people have to be there in person at Staples Center to watch your game and ask a question. So I think that's one of the things that's been really neat and really cool about all of this and taking everything remote and changing the way I do our jobs, is that it actually opens it up to a lot more people to participate in a different way.
And yeah, I'll go ahead, Amy, and jump in with that. Pre-COVID, you have to imagine 41 home games, 20,000 folks inside the arena that I get a chance to have fun with, get a chance to see, to interact with, to take their requests, to give out the money, give out the prizes, to be sitting on a couch on a Thursday and to hear that everything stopped. And we're going, so what do we do? Because this is my livelihood, not only doing this, but having residencies. I still do clubs, I still do birthdays, I still do weddings. And to get those calls from the couples that were like, hey, well, we're just hearing about 2 weeks, so we're gonna push it back about 2 weeks. Like, okay, cool. It is now April of 2021, so a lot of that stuff had to stop. And so me being in that limelight all the time, or just in that environment all the time, to just get shut down. And like Amy said, the virtual way is a new way, and we had to adapt. And I was still able to do a few ceremonies and things online, still able to do a few birthday parties, private birthday parties online via Zoom, and even Instagram Live, going live, every once in a while and tapping in with folks and just checking in on them. So it was a big difference. It was a big change. And now being inside the arena for this beginning part of the season, imagine going from 20,000 folks to 200 and I think it's 30 total inside of Staples Center. That's 2 teams, security, and what it takes to run the actual venue. So imagine yelling defense to an empty crowd, but we still have those sweeteners, and we know that people are yelling out defense along with us at home, and go Clips go, and things like that. So we still want to make it fun. And looking at TV, you could never tell, besides not seeing the people in the stands, but the way it sounds and in there, the way that we've done things, you would think that there's a couple of thousand people in there by watching a game. So it was an adjustment, but we are definitely ready to slowly start bringing fans back in and getting back to some type of normalcy.
So, since your workplace is people oriented, how do you maintain good relationships with your coworkers?
Ooh, that's a good question. I know one thing is that while we all work in different departments, we work a lot with each other. We're, as DJ Dent said, we're bringing fans, and I think Amy mentioned too, we're bringing fans back starting this weekend. And so we are all collaborating a ton, and we have been throughout I think all the time we are, and throughout the last year, but it's definitely ramping up a little bit right now. So I think it's just trying to be good communicators. Sometimes we over communicate, which is better, because you make sure, even if you add more people on, the more people that know, sometimes the better. So I do think that's one of the interesting things about working and I know a lot of businesses are like this, but I do think sports and entertainment, both with the venue side and with the team, that we do collaborate a lot. And it takes a lot of, you have to be able to work as a team and be a good teammate and a good team player in order to kind of get all of our jobs done in a specific department, but it takes other people helping along the way. So I think that's a super important part of our jobs, both in sports and entertainment.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with Tracy, especially as an event manager. I have to work with various departments. We all work together as a team, but I have to get information from the security team, from the production team, from catering, and all the other media, marketing. We work together, to put on one big show and event, and we just, we are team players, and just having a good attitude and knowing that we have the same end game really helps us to succeed. And even goes back to my internships. I'm still friends with all of my old directors from all of my previous internships, and it's so important to, stay positive and networking and staying connected, throughout your entire career.
I'll just add in really quickly on top of everything that Bridget and Tracy said, that in this remote world, I think that our administration and our HR at the Clippers and the forum have done a really good job at bringing all employees together as often as they can, so that you can still maintain that connection even though it's virtually. And sometimes that's for something really important, like I don't know, an announcement or something that they want to share. But usually, to be honest, it's for something silly and fun. Like we had a virtual New Year's Eve party, for example, or it wasn't New Year's Eve, New Year's January party, where we played games and Family Feud and have trivia and contests all via Zoom. And we bring in guest speakers to bring folks together and do a lot of, we had superlatives, like who's the best at muting themselves on Zoom and who's the worst at muting themselves on Zoom, silly things like that, which sound like they're not a big deal, but little things like that go a long way to keep, I think, a whole employee base connected when everybody's working virtually.
Okay, next would be, was college an original part of your career path, or did it come later on, or if you just want to elaborate on that part of your life?
College was definitely a part of my life. I didn't know the direction that I really wanted to go. I remember graduating from high school and then just like, okay, well, I'm going to go to a community college first, and then try and figure it out. And there I was just kind of going to class, doing what I wanted, go back to another class, but there was really no set goal. But knowing that music was in the back of my brain and just constantly just talking to me, I decided to go for broadcasting. And so that's when I focused in, went to UCLA for broadcasting, and ended up starting radio in 1998. So from that point, it was like, okay, I'm in music. This is my career. I DJ. I'm on the radio. So it just it took a minute to find out exactly what I wanted, but definitely college was in my sights.
Yeah, for me, I always knew I wanted to go to college. I'm the first person in my family to ever attend and actually graduate from college. So it was very important to me, but I had no idea what I wanted to do. I started at Michigan State a few years. I was a marketing major, switched to advertising, and then, oh, sorry, my dogs. And then by my fourth year of college, I transferred to Arizona State. I did get the internship at State Farm Stadium and switched to communications. And so I was on the 5-year plan, but I did finish college and it was a part of my plan.
I had always planned to go to college. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do or what I was going to study when I was a senior in high school. My only next step goal was go to college. I went to Northwestern University in Chicago, and it's a liberal arts college. And while I was there, I picked a major eventually, which was actually political science. Which I don't necessarily use the tactics of my degree or my major every day, but I did learn a lot while I was at Northwestern. Among them, how to be a person, how to interact with people who were like me and people who were different than me, how to think critically, how to write, which is super important. Yes, I'm a communications person who does a lot of writing for a job, but it's, I think, such becoming a little bit of a lost art that it's so important that people can write really, really well. And I was a political science major because my plan in life, and please laugh at me, was to be a spy. I was going to be the next James Bond or a CIA agent. That was my yes, thank you. That was my goal. And I had a whole plan for how I was going to get there. But I had a moment before my senior year in college where I realized that people worked in sports for a living, sort of like what Tracy said, that she had that moment when she was in high school a little bit earlier than me. But and that's when I transitioned from there. But it took my college experience to bring me to that. because I had been exposed to so many different things than what I had been before. It was, you know, I was on the crew team in college. I worked at the gym. I coached some youth sports, all of those things. And I wouldn't have had those experiences unless I had been in college, I don't think, that brought me to that realization.
So what motivates you guys to work in your career choice every day?
Honestly, passion and family. That's definitely motivation. You wake up and you know you're in the field. I mean, for most of us that are on this panel right here, we get to wake up and do our dream job. And this being our dream job, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. The people you get to meet, the people you get to see, the people you get to interact with. And the best thing is, if you have fun at this job every day, then I think the word or the wording is you'll never work a day in your life. So if you get up every day loving what you do, that passion's going to be there, and you see the outcome, and you know your family is there behind you. You're supporting your family, family supporting you. So for me, I would say it was that.
I would add on to, I think probably most of us got into our jobs for fun, to have fun in some capacity. But I think what pushes me and keeps me going every day is that we can't do things halfway, because if I do my job halfway, I'm just one person, but that means that the basketball experience isn't 100%. Our fans don't enjoy 100% of the best basketball game they should have. Our players can't be at 100% of their capacity to score, for example, or grab rebounds or whatever it may be. We do our job because the fans need us to do our job so that they can have the experience that they do when they go to games or watch games on TV or listen to games on the radio or whatever it is. If you think about it, that for a lot of people, for most people, I think going to a basketball game is a big deal. You get tickets, you plan with your friends and your family, you go, you park, you get a hot dog, you have a great time, maybe you buy a t-shirt. It's an experience. And if any little tiny piece of that experience isn't as great as it should be, then I think we all could be better at what we do. And that pushes me to make sure that I'm doing my part so that all those pieces can deliver.
And I think piggybacking on that too, our jobs are a lot of fun. They're also a lot of work. We work a lot of crazy hours, a lot of long hours. It's stressful. Someone had asked us once, if things could be late. Similar to Amy, things can't be late because the game is going to start. So it is a high stress job, but I think what motivates is remembering the end result. So remembering that, as Amy mentioned, like when people come to a game, it's an experience. When we in the community relations department get to bring out kids for their very first basketball game ever, and we get to bring them down to the court to, obviously before everything, but to see the players closer up and to high five the team, and just that they're in the building for their very first game. Those kinds of things are really the reward. And sometimes the small things that you don't think are a really big impact are a bigger impact than you realize. And so remembering that is good motivation too, that you're able to give back and provide an experience for people and memories that will last. So
yeah, I would definitely have to agree with the team on that. For me, every day is something new, and it's a new learning experience from every event. But there's a lot of behind the scenes that a lot of people don't see, especially for concerts. We've been loading in for 3 days for 12 hours. And then, for a lot of the staff on an actual show day, it's a 12 to 16-hour day for a lot of people. So there's definitely a lot of work that goes in, behind the scenes, a lot of people don't see, but we have such a talented team and just excited to work with the crew and, provide that amazing guest experience for everyone.
Okay, next would be, so obviously you guys, like Tracy said, you guys work really long days. You guys are always busy. So what brought you guys here to, talk to us? What encouraged you guys to want to come talk to some high school students?
I can go first. I think for me, I love like the people aspect of it. And I love being able to connect with folks that I think might have an interest in understanding a little bit more about what we do every day, to realize that there's more to, sports and entertainment than being a musician and being an athlete. And so I think that it's really cool to let people know that there are these experiences, because it took me a long time to realize that there was even roles like this in the sports and entertainment world. And if that's something that you're interested in, like, we want to be able to get that out to you as soon as we can, because our field is always growing. And I think that it's something that there's always people that are willing to work in it. And I think that it's important to kind of expand your horizons. So anytime that I can give back to others, I think is something that I personally really enjoy.
I'll add on to that. I think everybody sort of talked around it or mentioned this at least a little bit, but we work for organizations that you've heard of most likely. And I think there's some responsibility that comes with that. I know there's some responsibility with that. And that's a top-down thing from our owner and chairman all the way down to our leadership and us who work for these organizations. We need to use our platforms to do good things. And Tracy maybe can tell you a little bit more, but we do this sort of thing a lot, and because it's important to us. I don't know, we've done probably like 100, not me personally, but we've done probably 150, 200 Zooms or something just like this in the last year, talking to students and sharing about what we do, because it's one of the ways that we can continue on all of the meaningful work that our community team, for example, does all the time normally. And having these virtual touch points with students is a great way to keep that going.
Yeah, I mean, one of the, the good things that has come from doing everything virtually with all of our schools is that we're able to pull employees who have wanted to volunteer for a lot of these panels. So that's been a great, because they can do them from home. They don't have to drive to a school far away. We've also been able to reach schools that are further. I know you guys aren't super far, but we've had some schools that are, much further away that we wouldn't be able to reach normally. So that's been great. And we've loved to be able to do that. And I think also to be able to share that, when people see a basketball team or a concert, they think it's just the people that you can see, but there are so many people behind the scenes that are working. We're from a handful of departments on the panel today, but we have so many departments that people don't think of are in sports. We have a legal team, we have a finance team. Social media is huge, obviously, you guys as high school students know. So we have a whole content team that puts together all of our videos and posts all of our social media on all the different accounts. We have a graphic design team. We have analytics is huge. So we have both analytics on the basketball side and we have analytics on the marketing side now, helping with all of our consumer stuff. So there are so many different avenues that you could pursue that and then end up in sports and entertainment, which I think that was also one of the things to just be able to share with some, middle and high school students to kind of broaden and allow them to see some different sides of our career path.
And I would have to agree with all of that. I mean, it's a very unique industry. And I know when I was in high school, I was going to concerts, but I never thought it could be a career one day. So I definitely just want to, share the knowledge of our industry. And, if this is something you're interested in, you can definitely start, right into college and get internships and kind of discover what you want to do.
So we are slowly coming to an end. So if there were any questions, you could put in the chat. But in the meantime, what key points would you like our students to take from your presentation today?
I would say always be willing to learn. And that's no matter how old you are, no matter what profession you're in, no matter where you end up, you don't know everything. I don't know everything. Everyone on this panel, from principals to parents to everyone, we don't know everything. We always need to open our minds, be willing to learn, be willing to listen and understand. So trust me, when I get in, I can have a set program for the game. I can say, okay, well, I got the newest song. I have this, and this ready to go. And then I open up my social media at the game and I'm going, all right, Clipper Nation, you guys are here. I want to hear from you. Tell me what you want to hear. Tell me where you're sitting. I'll shout you out. And then I go back to my Instagram or my Twitter and I go, what song is that? Like, I have no idea. And there's 30 people asking for this one song. And I thought I had everything. And I'm going, okay, so now I need to listen to it, and go ahead and give it a shot. So just be willing to learn and never give up on yourself.
I'll say two things. One, we need people like you guys. Maybe we need you. Our industry is growing and changing a lot. And, we're always going to play basketball games and have live events and concerts, with fans again, someday soon, hopefully. But we need young people to come in and refresh what we're doing with new ideas, new perspectives to make us different, make us better. So the more that we can talk to young people, I get a lot of ideas from young people that I talk to, and I learn a lot from my colleagues when we do this sort of thing. So that's so important. And then two, the piece of advice that I'll sort of leave you with is that I remember back when I was in high school and in college, I was so worried about what am I going to do with my life? What's my goal? What's my career? What's it going to be? And that's a really, really important question, but it's also a really stressful one. And it took me a little while to realize that it's equally as important to figure out what you don't want to do with your life as it is to figure out what you do want to do with your life. It's okay to try things and not like them. Every time you do, you cross that off of your list, and then that's not for you, and that might open up your eyes to a whole different opportunity. I think probably most of us have had experiences similar to that in our careers. So it's important to figure out, what your big picture, what your 10-year plan is, all of that. Yes, absolutely. Keep that in the back of your mind, but don't let that hold you back from trying new things and just seeing what sticks, because sometimes that's as valuable and as important as finding the right thing.
Totally agree with all of that. And, definitely just work hard, stay motivated, try new things. And even if you fail, keep on trying until you find what you do like. And most of all, have fun while you're doing it all.
And I think for me, one that I wish I would have known when I was younger, but even something I take into my current role, but then also just life in general, is that the people who are looking out for you, whether it's your teachers, your family, your friends, the people who really have your best interests at heart are going to tell you what you need to hear rather than what you want to hear. And I think it's important to know that sometimes there is a difference between what you want to hear and what you need to hear.
I think for me, I'd say one to piggyback on, but first of all, be kind. I think sometimes a little kindness, people don't realize how something small can really go a long way. And be open. Some other people had mentioned that too, but I think being open to new experiences. If it makes you scared, it's okay. Sometimes that's a good thing. Usually that's a good thing. It means it matters. So I think be willing to try things that make you scared or make you a little nervous, because I think sometimes the best things come from those experiences.
And if I can, real quick, when I say always be willing to learn, I remember before the last game, someone had hit me and was just like, "Oh man, you should use this for one of the players, or if they make a big basket." And it's the whole big thing on TikTok that she, like everybody knows what the see, look, heads are moving right now. So Paul George comes out every game as he's practicing, warming up and everything, and he does a half court shot. So we wait, and he'll shoot. Sometimes he'll make it on the first try. Sometimes he'll make it on the third try, whatever it is. But he made it on the first try. We hit the explosions, we hit the applause, and he runs off. And right as he's hitting the tunnel, I hit the yee, and it went viral. It went viral. So it's one of those things where you go, always be willing to learn, because of course it goes viral. We were the first NBA team to actually have that. And now they're all using it for their dunks and things like that. So when they post things, we were the first, you know what I mean? But it was because I got a tip from somebody else, because I was willing to listen. So, and it's simple things, it's small things that can just help you in the long run. Yay!
Okay, we have a question in the chat from Ms. Cooper. It says, as a science teacher, people don't meet me and immediately say, wow, will you teach me some science? I imagine people meet you and ask for tickets, bling, can you help me meet, so forth and so on. How much is an aspect of your job? How much of that is an aspect of your job, and what are your feelings about that?
I'll start with this one because we're all nodding our heads. Yes, that is absolutely an aspect of our job. I'm sure every single one of us has had that experience. Even Bridget with shows at the Forum, people are probably always asking her for tickets. Yes, it's fine for me. It's, you know, not how I like to talk about my job and what I do, but it's the way that most people understand a live basketball game. And if that opens a door to, like Miss Cooper said, talking about science or basketball, that's fine with me. A lot of times I'll follow that up with, yes, I do get to meet, you know, player X. Yes, I do get tickets to every game. I'm going to steal Tracy's words because Tracy always says this, but I'm working every game. I don't get to watch every minute of every basketball game. Sometimes I do, but usually I'm running around. I'm, you know, working on a press release. I'm asking questions of my coworkers. It's not like you get to sit and cheer every game. Only DJ Dents gets to do that. But we all work hard. And if the gateway question to explaining what we all do for a living is, tell me about your free tickets, that's okay.
Ever since I started, it's just been like, hey, how many tickets? Who you guys playing? Can I get floor seats? Yeah, no, that's just not the way it works. I remember when I started, and Tracy remembers too. The arena holds 20,000, and I want to say in 05, 06, we may have had about 10,000 folks in there on a good day. We would sell out every 3 or 4 games, maybe 5 games. We didn't have, you know, as many fans in there, and of course we took a turn and we're selling out every game. But I remember getting tickets when I started, and then I had tickets, and I'm like, hey guys, come support me, come to the game, just so I can show them that I have people that want to come to the game and everything. And the first question was, who are you guys playing? Doesn't matter, just come on in, enjoy the experience, enjoy what we do. And then of course, once we started selling out and everything, like, I don't care where it is, I'll sit wherever. Just and also, do you know so and so? Can you get me down on the court to meet so and so? And sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But it's all a part of what we do. And trust me, at the end of the game, my social is blowing up, where people are going, hey man, we shouldn't have lost that game. Can you tell so and so that they shouldn't have taken that 3-pointer? Can you go back in the room and tell? Like, no, I don't. I don't go in the players' locker room and tell them, you know, like, hey, you shouldn't have taken that shot because at so and so that's sitting at home says that you weren't wide open on that one. But it is fun. It's a lot of fun. And again, sometimes when the games are over, and yeah, I do get a chance to talk to some of the players. I do get a chance to DM them, hey, great game, you know, game ball goes to you and things like that. So you see that they reply back. So it's fun to be a part of an organization that's a complete family.
Yeah, and it is a fun part, similar to Amy and Dents. It happens all the time, but it is, you know, one of the perks, if you can call it a perk, because sometimes it means people care. They're watching and they know that, like Dents said, you know, we've been playing better in the last handful of years since both of he and I started a long time ago. And so it's been fun to watch that fan base grow and show up and be filling the seats. And similar to when people do always ask, like, oh, have you met so-and-so? We work with them as coworkers a lot of times. So yes, we've met them and yes, we talk to them, but it's the same, you know, if we have an event that they have to go to, I have to get them the information to get to the event the same way I would get it to Amy, who has to come and cover it. So it's really working with coworkers. And we've been very lucky that we've had great guys come in and out. The hardest part is letting them go. And so seeing them on other teams, but if they're on another team, it means we at least get to see them when they're in arena. But yeah, so I think it's just part of it. You just kind of let it go, and we never have tickets, so it's just one of those aspects. That was a good one though. Jocelyn, you guys have anything else? Oh, how did we get the job?
Yeah, I was gonna read that one.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so yeah. Go ahead and share if anybody wants to share your experiences.
I can start. I mean, for mine, it was all through internships. I did an internship, you know, with Live Nation, unpaid, when I was 18 for marketing internship. And then I did the premium seat sales internship. And what really landed my role was my event internship for State Farm Stadium. After my internship, I left, worked at a hotel for a year, and then I was able to come back full time on the team as an event coordinator. After a year, I was promoted to guest services and event manager. So yeah, for me, it was internships got me to where, and my hard work, of course, and networking.
The same.
Go ahead. Okay. Definitely the way you ended it, Bridget, with the hard work for sure. I was already DJing clubs and parties and birthdays and things like that. And I remember I had to do an event at what used to be the Home Depot Center in Carson, and now it's Dignity Health. I can't remember how to what it's called now, but anyway, there was a lady that worked at Clippers that was also doing some freelance stuff for BET and some other big names, and so she was in charge while I was doing this battle of the high school bands, and she was like, "Wow, you're the way you interact with folks and all that, like you're good. We're thinking about having a DJ for the Clippers. I work for the Clippers. Would you be interested?" And it's like trying to hold back as much as I could, just, yeah, sure. I'd definitely be interested in something like that. She's like, "Okay, well, let me talk to some folks and I'll give you a call." And then she gave me a call and was like, "Hey, we want to try you out if you're up to it." I'm like, "Yeah, no worries. We have a game in about a week and we want to try you out. So we're just going to have you play some music for the fellas and for the fans and all that." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." We hung up. I don't think I slept for 7 days. I don't, because it was now a dream come true, because for one, this is a team that I've followed since '89. You guys probably, that was back in the 1900s. But anyway, I've followed this team for a long time. And I remember when she brought me in, and it was just to do the big games, the games that she knew that we were going to have quite a few folks in there. And the first game that I came to, and I'm looking at the arena and where I was set, I was like, wow, this is just amazing. I remember she's counting me down because the fellas are getting ready to come out, and I get down to 3, 2, 1, but 3, 2, 1 seemed like it was about an hour long. Okay, and these, mind you, these are just seconds. So she's saying 3, 2, 1, and on the corner of my eye, I see this camera guy running towards me. And when she got to 2, 1, there was a red light and a lens in my face. And she said, "Okay, Dents, go ahead and play." I'm looking at the camera, and all I could hear in my head was, "Dents, play the song, Dents, play the song." And I'm looking at the camera, and then I look up at the big board, and it's just me looking at the camera on the big board, so I was nervous and all that, but she knew that once I got past that part, I played the song, my interaction with fans and things like that. And then she says, "You know what, after I think the third game," she said, "You do an amazing job. You're hardworking. The fans love it. Would you like to do the remainder of the season?" I was like, yes, I would. And from that point on, it's been every home game, every season for the past 15 years. So that's kind of how I did. I've only missed one game, but it was for a good reason. And that was because I was chosen to go to All-Star, and I had to leave on a Monday, and we had our final game on that Wednesday before the All-Star break. So my attendance is pretty cool.
And I think I'll piggyback on Bridget talking about internships. I actually started with the Clippers as an unpaid game night intern. Now we pay our game night staff, so it's a part-time job now. But I was an unpaid intern for a season, working game nights and events and whatever I could to just kind of learn as much as I could, soak up everything I could as far as what the industry looked like. And I got very lucky that there was an assistant position that opened up the season after I interned, and applied for it. And because I had been an intern, they knew my name and knew who I was. And so I was able to get an interview. But I really think that internship helped open it up, because I don't think they really would have pulled me out of the stack of the hundreds of people that applied for it without having that experience and having them already know my name. And then have been lucky enough to be able to keep moving up and still be with the organization. So yeah.
Okay, I have my own question. So I've been going to the Staples Center and the Forum for years for like concerts and like events like that. Could anybody tell me like how that's going to work in the future? Like after like COVID stuff is over, or like when that's going to happen? Because I still have tickets from a concert I was supposed to go to last year, but got canceled because of COVID. And so I'm like really anticipating that, because I got them from Ticketmaster, and the concert wasn't canceled, it was postponed. So the tickets are still like a thing. So yeah, that's my question.
I can sort of answer that. Maybe Bridget has some more concert specific knowledge about the Forum, but great question, Jocelyn. I don't think, or actually I know that none of us has the exact answer to your question. And, that's part of the fun, I suppose, of all things COVID, is that things are changing so quickly. But I've found myself personally that I think it's really powerful to hear leaders at whatever level they're at or whatever they're leading say that they don't know, because we really don't know. We're taking really small steps, right, into letting fans back. Working with the state and the county. As we said earlier, the 18th on Sunday, we're going to have a small amount of fans back at the Clippers game, which is really exciting. And then we have a handful of home games left in the regular season and then the playoffs, where we will, knock on wood, play for a really long time and hopefully be able to open up a little bit more and let more and more fans back. But it's tricky, and I know that the forum is starting to schedule more events and more concerts for later in the year, in hopes that we'll be able to safely get folks back. I think your question about tickets is that eventually, if that show gets played, you'll get to go to it, and Ticketmaster will work with you, I'm sure, on that. None of us works for Ticketmaster, so that's a little bit trickier for us to answer. But I would say sort of the summary is that we want to go back to games and live concerts just as much as you do. But even more than that, we want to be safe, and we want to protect our fans. We want to protect folks that are coming to concerts. That's so much more important than having a great time at a show, for example. It's sort of sad to say that, but that's the reality of the world that we live in right now. So we're going to do things really, really slowly, and hopefully we'll see you all soon.
That was very well said, Amy. Exactly.
And Jocelyn, I'm in the same boat with you on tickets, girl, because I've also got tickets that are on a postponed show. Not for the forum, but for another venue. So I hear you. Hopefully, like Amy said, we'll get there soon. But
yeah, it's almost going to be a year since that show was supposed to happen, in like the next like week and a half. So I'm just like, remember when I found out the concert like got postponed, I was like, oh well, there goes that. But then I thought I was gonna get canceled completely, but they ended up postponing it. So I was like, okay, maybe there's still a chance in the future. But yeah, so I'm waiting.
Yeah. We're very optimistic. We did start announcing shows for this fall and are scheduling shows for 2021, 2022. So we're very optimistic, but only time will tell.
Yeah. Okay. So if anybody else has any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. But yeah, thank you for answering that, because I know a lot of my friends that are also going to that show, they haven't heard anything from like Ticketmaster or like the people who are putting on the show in the first place. So that cleared up a lot. So thanks for that.
I will say behind the scenes, we do have like our GM and our booking department. That's another department. They work with the tours, and a lot of tours are kind of rearranging and rescheduling their tours. So it's a big process on the booking behind the scenes as well.
All right. But yeah, questions, go ahead and put them in the chat if you have any. Well, it was great. I think it was great talking to you guys. You guys, gave us a lot of good information, especially with COVID. I'm sure a lot of people are waiting for the day that they can get back to the games and the shows and everything in between. So thank you for coming and talking to us today.
Thank you so much for having us. You guys did a great job, both Nina and Jocelyn. Thank you so much for asking the questions today. It was great to have students participate, so we appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Ms. Soto, you can stop recording.